Yo, how's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. My apologies. My sincerest of apologies. I am late. Well, quite heavily late, to be honest. 22 minutes late from the time since I should have been actually live, since I should have been here already talking about Arsenal. Well, but basically, unfortunately, I'm not gonna lie, I fell asleep. There's no other way to say this, explain this, and anything. Basically, it was about a bit more than an hour till the stream. Basically, I should be going live, and I basically fell asleep. There's no other way to say this, describe this. There's no other basically explanation. I just fell asleep. Sorry about that. However, I'm here. I'm right now. Whether this stream will be, as you can see, an hour long or a bit shorter, time only will tell. Time only will tell. But for now, we are here, and let's do this. Today on the agenda we have, of course, some Arsenal transfers, some rumors, turmoil in the fan base, and yeah, the pain. Every single year, this is our year. Every single year we get promised basically the riches of the world, and how we get rewarded. You guessed it, by Spurs winning the Europa League. That will be also one of the topics, which I'm not gonna lie, is not one of the greatest of things. Seeing Spurs yesterday win the game, and then it just hits me at one moment that we're never gonna hear the end of this. Spurs have had more successful season. Spurs have a trophy. Matter of fact, the Spurs have a European trophy, which Arsenal don't. Which at the end of the day means that, yeah, we are screwed. We genuinely are screwed. And let's be real, at fault, nobody else but Arteta and, of course, the Cronkies. Nothing more, nothing less to say about that. But we're definitely gonna touch up on it. We're definitely gonna talk about it. We're gonna speak on it in a second and all this stuff. So definitely stick around, stick about everything. We have lots of stuff to discuss. So maybe certain things we're gonna talk about are gonna be arguably shorter than they should be. Less attention, let's just put it that way. Just so I can get through everything I had in plans, genuinely, for today's stream, because I had quite a lot since I guess they didn't stream, so definitely there will be some stuff happening. Now, first things first, what we're gonna begin with, and I kid you not, is would be nice if anything could open. What will be this? Nico Williams. And this came out yesterday before the Spurs game during the day. Obviously yesterday it wasn't live due to personal reasons, so yeah, this came out. And apparently this basically talks about the fact that Real Madrid are and could be targeting Nico Williams in a shocking fashion, a shock deal, which at the end of the day means that Rodrygo might become available. If I could stop yawning, it would be nice. Anyways, but yeah, everything starts off with that Nico Williams could be going to Real Madrid, and in that case, obviously, there were many talks that Rodrygo would become available. Obviously, Rodrygo has been linked with us for a while. Basically, the last, I would say, 2-3 weeks, if not the whole month. So it will be very interesting to see how this goes, because still, see, I cannot wake up. It's really fucking pissing me off. But yeah. But ultimately, yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with Rodrygo. No matter how much they want to tell me in the media that he could be available, he might be leaving, until there is actual, like, realistic proof that he could leave or is leaving, I'm not gonna believe this. Obviously, you're gonna talk about this just because, well, it's transfer news, transfer rumors, and that's what we do here. But ultimately, I'm not gonna start waving like the Brazilian flag and say we are signing, of course, to Rodrygo. Next one. Benjamin Sesko. Remember him? We've been linked with him for over a year now. Well, year and a bit, to be honest. And obviously, the talks about him were not that loud, I would say, in the last... I would say from March till mid-April. The talks about him were not that loud because they mostly talked about Gyokeres since Arsenal wanted him, allegedly. But obviously, the more and more it got talked about, the more and more reports starting to come out that Andrea Berta, he wants Gyokeres. However, Mikel Arteta, he wants Benjamin Sesko. And this is where it all kicks off because Gyokeres still is available and could be available for Arsenal specifically because the latest rumors are suggesting that actually Viktor Gyökeres himself hasn't still decided where he wants to go. It could be Premier League, maybe. And if it's Premier League, then most likely it's going to be Arsenal or, yes, Manchester United, ironically. Manchester United is still on the cards despite the loss in Europa League because for me, that's how media was portraying things basically. I was led to believe that if United win the Europa League and get Champions League, Gyokeres could be going like 50% chance to, of course, Manchester United. Now that United lost yesterday and Spurs won, oh my goodness, still cannot believe that Spurs have better European pedigree than Arsenal. They have more trophies than Arsenal in the last 5 years. Daniel Levy has won more major trophies than Kroenkes have at Arsenal. And everything, oh man, it's actually kind of nuts. But to the other hand, regarding Gyokeres and Sesko, yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be that easy. Because despite everything, despite the loss, it looks like Gyokeres might still be going to Manchester United. We're going to touch on him in a second, a bit later on. But Mikel Arteta has told Arsenal, apparently, to make £80 million bid for Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko. And the worst part is he is more expensive than Gyokeres. And on top of that, the fan base, I'm not saying they're split like 50-50, but fan base is split a bit about this. Because I know there's a big chunk of the fan base that actually would prefer Benjamin Sesko over Gyokeres. And then at the same time, I know a big chunk of the fan base that would prefer Gyokeres over Sesko. And that is the worst part. There is no clarity in the media, as it should be, let's be real. Nobody should know 100% where they're going. If a team wants a player, you pay the money and you get him, like Liverpool are doing. They already have signed Frimpong, Gyokeres could be happening. Florian Wirtz they might be getting. So they're moving like a proper club. You would think they have just finished the league, 2 points behind the first place, but, well, they have won it, actually. And Arteta's reasoning for this, apparently, has been the fact that Arteta is worried that Chelsea could march in and take Arsenal's number one target off them. And that is the worst part. No matter how you look at this, no matter how you want to portray this, no matter what the reports say, there is one big unanimous thing. Sesko is the number one target, which now is a big issue for me. Because there have been numerous reports, as we talked about, that Andrea Berta wants Gyokeres, Arteta wants Sesko. If Sesko is the number one target, that makes me start to question how much power does Mikel Arteta still possess in this team and this club over transfers and everything. Because still for him to be number one target, the influence must have been very huge. Might be also due to coming from the time when Edu and Eto were working on him. Maybe. But it is a big question mark currently. Now the question for you all. Would you take Sesko or Viktor Gyökeres? Let me know in the chat. Big Aprani, hope you're doing well. We need to get Gyokeres no matter what. See? No matter what, we should be getting Gyokeres. Yet at the same time, I'm telling you, there are Arsenal fans who are saying Gyokeres pretty much is worse by a mile than Sesko. And we should be getting Sesko without shadow of a doubt. This is where we are right now. Spurs 1 trophy, us 0. Dude, don't remind me this. Tomorrow in North London there is a parade, by the way, for open bus parade for Spurs winning Europa League, and there are rumors that they're gonna drive purposely past Emirates and everything. Spurs have now the ability to sing Champions of Europe. You'll never sing that, which is even worse. Thank you, Madrid, for collection. I would hope that we sign him. A baller who can score 6 free kicks. Yeah, exactly. Yet at the same time, there are lots of Arsenal fans who don't want Rodrygo, which is also very, very interesting. We're going to get to Rodrygo in a second, because we are at the moment talking about the striker position specifically. But it's still also, the fan base is also quite split regarding Rodrygo's signing, just like the fan base is very split between Gyokeres and Sesko. Spurs won Europa League. Before us, we couldn't even win Europa League. Yep. It's dark times. It's dark times. And the worst part is the fan base. The fan base was utter disgrace. Instead of the fact that Arsenal fan base should be hurting, let's be real, they should be in pain. They should be hurting. There should be some ramifications and everything. I saw on Twitter big chunk of the fan base trolling United, as if we have done something in the past 5 years, as if we have won something in the last 5 years, as if we own the trophy or something like that. You would think we have just won the Premier League, the way they were trolling Manchester United. Have some shame. Seriously. What gives you the ability to do that? What gives you permission to do that? Because that was totally and utterly tasteless in my opinion. And that just shows where some Arsenal fan bases true colors lie, ultimately. Because they cared more about the fact that United lost than Spurs won. And even though if Spurs don't win, you should think about and compare this to Arsenal. Because Arsenal have won nothing in the last 5 years, $750 million spent. We finished second. What a trophy. We beat Man City. We beat Real Madrid. Those are their only arguments. Oh, but when Mikel Arteta gets his right players. It's been 5 years. And I reiterate once again and emphasize this. $750 million spent. And he still needs his own players? That is the rebuild. What's happening within the rebuild, for the rebuild, about the rebuild. And there's no chance in hell that it's going to happen. So that at the end of the day means that these fans care more about Arteta than they care about Arsenal. Let's be real. Because there were part of fan base who actually were hurt, myself included. The other part, oh bloody hell. Oh, big Sesko. Sesko got outside the box. Arsenal have See, Marlon wants Sesko over Gyokeres. Why? No idea. But he apparently wants that. Don't they got Osimhen? No, they don't. They don't nothing. Osimhen apparently wants 12 million net as salary, which means that you earn as the highest earner in UK. I think in England it's like 45% tax or something like that when you are counted as the highest potential earner in the country, right? Correct me if I'm wrong if you live in the UK, which means almost half of the money goes genuinely to the government. Which at the end of the day means if you want 12 million net, you need to have about 12 million net, that's 55%, you need to have about 22 million a year salary. 22 million a year. That sounds very nuts. But 22 million a year, that basically means you are getting 400,000+ a week. And that is never going to happen. Yep, yesterday was one of the worst days in time. How many years do we get from the Gyokeres versus Sesko? That depends. That genuinely depends. That genuinely depends ultimately to everything. We need to win. Ultimately, if we sign Gyokeres and we win stuff, all is cool. And we win Premier League or Champions League. Because at the moment, I don't give a crap. Well, I cannot say I don't give a crap. I care about the trophies, but at this current stage, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, or winning the double of them is not enough. You either win Premier League, or you win the Champions League, or you get the fuck out of the club. And I'm talking about Mikel Arteta here. And at the end of the day, if we sign Gyokeres, it works out, great. If we sign Sesko, it works out, great. If we sign any of them and it doesn't work out, well, it's done and dusted. Because let's be real, it would be on Arsenal at the end of the day. And it would be quite heavily on Mikel Arteta based on the last 5 years. So that is that about everything. So time only will tell. Big up Boyton. Big up my boss, by the way. Big up my boss. Big up Boyton. I'm interested in Sesko. I would take Sesko over Gyokeres, to be honest. He's got it. See, people say that Sesko has it. And personally, I get the reasoning, At the same time, whenever I have watched Sesko, he has had some very good games. He scored a hat trick and everything. At the same time, he has had very quiet games. And you obviously can expect that because nobody ever is gonna bag a hat trick every single game. One plays in Bundesliga, one plays in Portugal, right? That is the biggest argument. Farmers League and everything. Bring me the crops. Bring me the cream of the crop from the Farmers League. It's Gyokeres. Like scoring 97 goals in 100 games or something like that. That is remarkable on its own. No matter where you play, how you play, and who you are. Let's be real. The issues about both players have advantages and disadvantages. Sesko arguably fits more our team than Gyokeres. At the same time, Gyokeres is a much better finisher. The way I have, the matches I have watched Gyokeres play, he looks ready right now. Sesko, he might be ready, he might not. We don't know. Obviously, it's the same gamble with Gyokeres to some extent. But Sesko needs, I think, a year or two still. One of the biggest issues with Sesko, personally, for me, is the rawness of his game, let's just put it that way. Because whenever I watch him, he has two big things. He has the tunnel vision. If he decides to shoot, he just shoots. And that, for me, is a big worry. And his passing game to hold up play, to distribute the ball, leaves a lot to be desired. Plus, he cannot even score 20 goals in Bundesliga. That, for me, is the biggest issue as well. That's why I would take Gyokeres. Plus, Gyokeres, to be honest, is like 10-15 million cheaper than Sesko. That is the mad part in all of this. Gyokeres is great, but we need to start dominating Europe and Prem. We can't go after Gyokeres the whole time and get rejected, then waste our chance and go by fluff. True. Exactly, that is the case. If you want the player, go not and sign him. At the end of the day, if it's Sesko, go sign him. If it's Gyokeres, go sign him. One of the biggest issues I have is the fact that we are linked with a player, we drag out everything for about 60 years, and at the end of the day, we don't sign him. That for me is the biggest issue. Because no matter how you look at this, no matter who we sign, some of those players will be here when Arteta leaves, some of them won't. Some of them will get sold. And I think Andrea Berta also is looking at it that wise. Resell value. Because let's be real, he's one of the best in business and he's the reason for why. He has the reasons why. So that also will tell. That also time only will tell because, like, personally, only reason I don't want Sesko is because I don't think he's ready. That for me is the personal reason. That's my personal agenda regarding that, right? Especially also that he's more expensive and he hasn't scored as many goals, right? At the same time, if Arsenal wants Sesko, go and sign him at the end of the day. Go and sign him. We'll see what is what. Because even if we decide to sell him, there will be massive resale value. So at the end of the day, if we sign Sesko, I will be pissed off like hell. Don't get me wrong. Because I don't think he's too raw at the moment. He needs a year or two, right? The fact that RB Leipzig are not in Bundesliga, right? And not Bundesliga. What am I waffling about? I'm still asleep. Fucking hell, never take a nap during the day. Fucking moron. The fact that they are not in Champions League or Europa League or Conference League plays a big part in this, I think. That because Sesko will be available, it looks like Javi Simons will be available and everything. So that also we will have to take into account. Spurs pride has never been anywhere near our ground. Well, it could be. Big up Mike, by the way. There are some rumors talking about, it's not confirmed or anything, but there are random rumors suggesting that tomorrow Spurs parade in North London for winning the Europa League, the bus will be driving past Arsenal Stadium. There are rumors about that, and I hate it. Cornell says Sesko is a baller. See, like, I watch Bundesliga. I'm not saying he's an awful player, but it just, in both players, I can see reasons why he would fit us, and I can see also reasons why he won't. The biggest reason why I'm more interested in Gyokeres at the moment is, I'm not talking about the price, 10-15 million either way, don't give a fuck about that. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just the goal score record. Gyokeres has shown he has done it on consistent basis, on all the stages and everything. But Sesko still leaves to be desired, and that is my biggest reason. At the same time, you can use the same argument for Alexander Isak. He had nowhere near the numbers, right, in La Liga. He also was the same price as Sesko is currently, and look what he's doing now in Premier League. At the same time, Sesko does not have the abilities of Isak. So It's basically pick or poison. But I will say this again, as I said before. My favorite of this is Gyokeres, right? Honestly. However, if Arsenal want to get Sesko, go and get him then. Because there is no reason for drag this too long and drag it out so long that it basically nobody gives a damn anymore. Because one of the biggest things about transfers is the excitement, it's the X factor, it's the unknown. It's the fact that, for example, we are linked with two strikers and out of nowhere we sign one, right? For example, 2 weeks and someone comes in, whether it's player A or player B, that was the excitement and that basically was everything the fan base needed. The fact that we are linked with a player or two or three and it gets dragged out for a month, 2 months, by the end of the time when we sign him, nobody actually gives a toss. Unless it's like a world-class level player and it doesn't look like we're going to sign one. Like, nobody actually gives a toss at the end of the day. We should really be getting both. To be honest, true. We should be getting Gyokeres as number one, Sesko as the understudy. But after 2-3 years, Sesko becomes number one if we signed him. Big up Hyper. Big up Hyper. Hope you're doing well today. Hope you're having a fantastic day. In my mind, it's either Isak or Sesko and Gyokeres. Exactly. In my opinion, we should sign 2 strikers. With Jesus being here and the fact that Havertz is back and he's most likely going to be the other striker, I'm not too sure we're going to do it. That for me is the biggest worry. To really be getting 3 strikers in Sesko, Gyokeres and Omarodion. That literally is 200 million of just alone on 3 strikers. That's what's mad. You remember Naipan whole January negotiation still didn't sign him? Yeah, and he's going to go to Aston Villa most likely. And it looks like he's going to go to Aston Villa quite convincingly. Naipan going Villa. See, Boyton is saying the same thing. Because that the baller striker can help Sesko and his experience. Maybe, but needs to do at a higher level for me, Mikal Tadze still. Screw Spurs. True. Big up G-Wheels. Big up. In my opinion, this should be a question. Gyokeres is a hitman and what we need. This shouldn't be a question, sorry. That's the biggest thing. For me personally, this also should not be a question, right? At least the way I see it. Gyokeres has more goals, has more ability, and everything. At the same time, you'll see what's happening at our club. Half the time we are on a joke thing, and that is the worst part that you can imagine. No show garden, Madrid role, Rice deep lane, only again, Saka. Think play game plan, maybe. But we will fit the agenda, wants to play for our club and dominate football, wins loads of trophies, and we will win European trophies. Who knows? Remember let's us. Yeah, that's true, to be honest. Pretty much every single player that leaves Arsenal wins trophies afterwards. That is the sad part and the sad reality. We need some European we need heritage everywhere, let's be real. Because we are 32 years without 32 years without European trophy, 31 without Carabao Cup, 21 without the league, 5 years without FA Cup. And to be honest, since we won the FA Cup, we actually have not been too close to winning anything. You could say, oh, semi-finals in Europa League, we got schooled by Unai Emery. Ha, lol. Semi-finals against Newcastle, well, we got schooled there like we were not even playing there. The difference between Sesko and Gyokeres for me is 99.999 perspectively. It's not a problem getting either as far as this. No, exactly. That's the biggest thing. It's not a problem getting either one. It's just what you need right now. For me, Gyokeres is more win now type of situation. Sesko is maybe win now, but in the future that could be the more exact thing with higher ceiling. I would say Sesko potentially has higher ceiling, right? And that is the biggest decision at the moment Arsenal must make. You'll say that's 200 million for those 3 strikers. Sesko should have already been signed with Arteta. Let him stay another season, get more expensive. Exactly, that is the biggest thing. We never do the deals when we need to be done. And this could be applied to Arsenal in every way you can imagine. We always recognize problems, try to solve them, and maybe even solve them 2-3 years too late. Happened with Wenger, happened with strikers, happened with defenders, happened with midfielders all the time. By the time we try to fix one thing and we fix it, another place is broken. While we try to fix that place, another place is broken. and we are never fully ready, fully fit, fully ready to do anything. And that is one of the biggest frustrations I have had with Arsenal since basically we have moved to Emirates. Because how long did it take us to replace Patrick Vieira, for example? How long it has taken us to replace Aubameyang? We still haven't done it, by the way. And it goes on and on and on and on. And it never ends. That is the sad and the most annoying part in everything, basically, what we are talking about here. That's what that's where all the frustration is coming from at the end of the day regarding signings, regarding situations and everything. And yeah, according to Team News and Tickets, lol, he's the guy who promised us a mystery German, still waiting on him, it's been a year. He still believes that Sesko is the first choice, and it looks that way, to be honest. It's been reported multiple times by multiple sources that they also believe that Sesko is the number one choice. But I strongly also believe that Sesko is the number one choice also due to the fact that we wanted him last summer. We have more workup done on him, and it also comes from Edu and Aito days, so I guess that also plays a role. We need to make sales, but Jesus conveniently got injured. Havertz is fit though. He's ripe for the market. Yeah, true. Now the question is, who will buy him? Because there are certain players in this club that are on such high wages, to some extent even Saudis would not even look at them. That is what's the most annoying part to some extent. If we look at, for example, Havertz. If we look at Jesus. To be honest, last summer, for Jesus, we got like 40-50 million offer from Palmeiras. And we rejected it, by the way. Instead of getting money and signing a striker. We rejected that. And here we are 1 season later without a striker still. And bitching and moaning and being pissed off that we don't have a striker. Because you could argue that this season, if we had a proper striker, we would have won something. Because to some extent, I strongly believe that would have been the case. And it's basically, expect everything and get the nothing. Expect the best, but you get the bare minimum. At best. And it's usually something that you don't ever want to achieve. Let's just put it that way. News regarding Leandro Trossard are... Whoa. Arsenal are trying to negotiate a new deal regarding Leandro Trossard. What the fuck is happening here? Hey, yo. What is happening today? Why is nothing working? I fell asleep. I slept through the beginning of the stream. I'm late and nothing is working these days. What the actual F is going on in this world today? See? There we go. Leandro Trossard. Anyhow, Leandro Trossard. Arsenal want to keep Leandro Trossard. And the biggest thing why they want... I don't know why they want to keep him, but the biggest reasoning to keep him, basically, is the factor to keep him is increase his salary. Arsenal apparently realized that they have neglected this situation for far too long. Seriously. And they want to extend Trossard's contract. And that will come with a quite hefty pay rise, if you catch my drift. Because it also states here, extension talks between Arsenal and Trossard are at advanced stage, with all parties now confident an agreement can be reached. That's according to Sami Mokbel. Ding, 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 ding. And all that crap. Fucking moron. But yeah. And that is regarding Trossard, that is one of the biggest issues here. Because. See, Arsenal want to keep Martinelli as well. Arteta apparently wants to keep him quite heavily. Only way Arsenal sell him, and that same applies to Trossard, by the way, is if a good offer comes in. Arsenal value Martinelli above 50 million, and I get the reasonings why. The question is, if that even would come to question, who would pay about, let's just say, 60-65 million for Martinelli? Who would pay that? That for me is the biggest question to this current situation. And if we talk about Leandro Trossard, this is the thing. Representatives have been engaged in talks with Andrea Berta over his contract. Those conversations, however, do not center on an extension, but an uplift in salary. Now, if you are aware, Trossard is on 90,000 a week, which basically means after this new contract he will sign, which if this happens, right, or arguably when this happens, he will be on about 150 a week, 130 to 150. That at least is the region I imagine Leandro Trossard getting his new contract in. Arsenal have recognized for some time Trossard's contract does not reflect his standing within the squad and are now engaged in negotiations to put him at right. Well, this is gonna be fun. Genuinely, this is going to be hella fun. I cannot speak, I hate this. I will be over the moon if we sign Sesko and Rodrygo. I think Sesko suits us. Some of you talk as though he's a bum. Well, never talking him as a bum. For me, Sesko is just not the win now type of player. For me, the biggest issue is that Arsenal's window to win stuff is kind of closing, or is even closed. Because next season will be even harder than this season. And because this season was the easiest one, arguably. And not to mention previous season before that to win stuff. And that's why at the moment I'm very strong in this mindset that we need to sign win now players. We kind of are, in Arteta's terms, phase 5 or phase 6 or whatever phase we are in. And at some point you need to start to sign world-class level players. We moved Emirates to do that. How many times we have done it? We need Champions League to attract world-class level players. How many times we have done it since then? And that for me is the biggest reason. I don't think Sesko is a bum, but like, for me he's a more in the future type of situation. Obviously we're never gonna know until if we sign him, then we're gonna see, but at the end of the day, not too sure. Spurs and a trophy and everything goes to shit basically. That's the life these days. That is the life these days. No, he didn't say that Sesko is a bum. Some Arsenal fans are implying that he is that. Big up YouTube censors, big up. I'm just waiting for Arsenal to be linked to my 13-year-old boy. It's the time of the season where Chelsea shine. Big up to Southern United for making the National League playoffs final at Wembley. Big up. They actually beat Forest Green Rovers yesterday, didn't they? Because the last time I saw it, it was 0-0 still, or 1-1. I don't remember. I think it was 1-1 maybe. So it looks like Southern United actually won against them. Big up to them. Sell Martin no show guard. Well, that's never going to happen, is it? Well, at least whilst Arteta is here, that's definitely not going to happen. Bring in Javi Simmons, Rodrygo, Sesko, Gyokeres, Hato, and we have signed, and Ordonez, who we could be signing from Club Bruges as a center back, 100%. I kind of can see that. Number 10, left wing, two strikers, left back. I still think we need a midfielder though. And set for good luck on your debut next season. Yeah, most likely. Plus he got called up to England under 17s or under 19 team or something like that. Man United supporters are in serious meltdown. Missing out on European football will seriously hit them hard. No top players will sign for them. Is there anybody Arsenal could take from them? No, there's not. If you think from United's team specifically, the biggest thing is you say no top player will sign for them, but it means nothing. Obviously, United are on total mess at the moment, but it's still Manchester United. At some point, they should be getting things right. Let's be real. It's just a matter of time. When? The question is that when? When will it happen? Sooner or later? But United still are a big name. They still are, fan base wise, they're still one of the biggest fan bases in the world. So there ultimately always will be a market for Manchester United. Raya teach him the ropes, make him into prime Joe Hart. And some platforms are saying, exactly, that is the biggest thing. Quite a few platforms actually are saying Sesko is a priority. And it comes also from multiple sources, and it looks like it's coming from Ornstein and other places as well, so it could be the case. Obviously, the fact that we have scouted Sesko for a longer period of time, almost a year, obviously plays a big role in that. But it looks like he actually is the number one target at the moment, which is nuts. And where the fuck will Zubimendi play? Well, that's the big question. If Partey resigns, Go figure. Seriously, if Thomas Partey resigns, right? Where is Thomas Partey? Where is Thomas Partey? Here we go. If Partey resigns, where is he gonna play? Number 6? Number 8? God knows where. That's the biggest question about Zubimendi as well. Wouldn't Sesko be better long term? Yes, he would. Long term, 100%. For me, the issue is we need right now as well. And right now, that implies Gyokeres. So unless we sign 2 strikers, which should be the case, what we should be doing in the first place, right? That's why I'm swaying towards Gyokeres much more than Sesko. That's the biggest thing. Because we haven't had a proper striker since Aubameyang. And to be honest, we need 2 strikers, just a number 1 and number 2 guy. And we have none of those, because Jesus is definitely not it. Havertz don't make me laugh, and that's about it. So, for me, that's the case. And if we can only sign 1 per se, rather take a punt on Gyokeres. That, for me, is the biggest thing. We have Vanieri, Grover, Dauman, Francis, free kicking. We have, but just relying fully on youth, it's more of a suicide mission than anything. Some platforms such as AFTV are saying Sesko will be world class in 3 years. No idea. How they know that? Because there is talent in him, I'm not denying that. He could be great in 3-4 years, yes. But in 3-4 years, you know, we could be up there, or at the same time, Newcastle could be up there, at Chelsea, and at some point United are gonna get it right, Spurs might get it right, and everything. So, but in 3-4 years also, we might be in just a top 4 race, like we were under Arsene Wenger most of the times, not even in a title race. To be honest, this year it wasn't even a title race, it was a laughing race, because Liverpool went, and everyone just, well, was there at the end of the day. Brighton were closer to Liverpool at a certain stage of the season. United were on top of the table at a certain stage of the season. Arsenal were closest 4 points to Liverpool. Now it's double digit, by the way. 100 GA at 21 ain't world class. Gyokeres has 100 goals in 2 seasons. That is the biggest thing. I'm not gonna get into arguments of Sesko and Gyokeres, because that will take genuinely just a single stream, and since I already was late, I don't have time for that shit, let's be real. I want Gyokeres as the number 1 option, I don't mind Sesko as the number 2 option. But if we have to side only one, I'm not too sure Sesko alone is the right answer. I have doubts. United shares dropped 8% today, and let's be real, that's understandable. They have plans for 1.6 billion stadium, which means huge loans. They will not have the money to attract best players in the world without European football. We'll see. United might get relegated at this pace. That will be the biggest comedy show if that happens, let's be real. When Man City got their first title, they signed Dzeko, Balotelli, Aguero. We should do the same to get over the bump. Yeah, they signed world-class Aguero, they signed a backup in Dzeko, and then they signed, well, technically a wild card, but also at the time very promising Balotelli. So they do that, let's be real. But to be honest, no matter, at the end of the day, let's be real. It doesn't matter who we sign. It all at the end of the day leans on Mikel Arteta to coach them, manage them, play them, rotate them, and apply the proper tactics. And I don't trust Mikel Arteta with any of those things at the end of the day. So I'm a believer in this, that no matter who we sign, unless Mikel Arteta drastically changes his ways, which I don't see happening, we're never gonna win anything. If we get a different manager, then we can talk. And on the players half bars midfield screw that. I'm not talking about that anymore. I need some other things to talk about. Mikel Arteta confirms he wants Thomas Partey to stay, which is quite nice, I'm not gonna lie. I want Partey to stay as well, but that doesn't mean we don't need to sign midfielders. It will be interesting to see, because apparently Partey wants to stay as well. Partey's priority is also staying at Arsenal. Mikel Arteta wants him to stay. So there, technically, that should not be an issue. I think the biggest issue will be the contract and the length of the contract. Because for me, it should be like a type of 1 + 1 year type of deal. Whether they can come to terms to that, I'm not too sure, because Thomas Partey, from what I understand from the rumors and everything, he wants at least 2 years, or 3 even, which is a bit reckless for Arsenal in terms of the fact that, well, let's be real, his injury record is not the best and he's getting older, which would genuinely suggest that there is also a big part liability than actually availability. Arteta would turn prime JJ Okocha into me 100%. He would make him pass backwards all the time. Speaking of Rodrygo, by the way, some random rumors are starting to come out from Brazil and everything, and from Spain as well, that Rodrygo could become available around 80 million, by the way. 67 to 70 million pounds, by the way. 70 million pounds potentially could be his value. We already in winter, in January window, missed a market opportunity in Kvaratskhelia, by the way. That was 65, 70 million. And if we miss this opportunity, if this is true as well, someone's head is gonna roll. I just put it that way. Someone's head must roll. Because this is now negligence of the market and situations. Oh, but we always want to maximize opportunities, look for the deals of the century and all this stuff Arteta wants to push out as PR, and he never does. That is the worst part in all of this. So time only will tell, obviously. So, but yeah, 80 million for Rodrygo would be quite fantastic. By the way, this is a stat of the century regarding Arsenal. Investing in attack. Money spent on forwards since 2020. Basically, since the time Mikel Arteta took over Arsenal. Look in which place is Arsenal. 60th place with 80 million euros spent on forwards. We are behind teams like Wolves, Leeds, Stade Rennais, Brighton, Newcastle, West Ham, Benfica, Spurs, Aston Villa, Napoli and everything. And it doesn't even show the teams that this includes strikers and wingers, by the way. This doesn't include basically the places from 20 to 59. That is totally and utterly embarrassing stat we are seeing right now in front of our eyes. Of 750 million that Mikel Arteta has spent, only 80 million has been on the attack. 80. Again, 80. That's genuinely 10%. What are we doing here? 3.5 years to replace 3 years to replace Aubameyang. Have we done it? Will we do it? Because another issue is we have never seen Arteta coach a striker in the first place. The question is then, can he even coach one? Like, whichever forward he has ruined, besides Saka. Let's be real. So the big question is, can he even manage a proper forward, high-level forward? If Arsenal's women win the Women's Champions League, should they be given an open bus parade throughout Islington on a parade at Emirates Stadium? They should be given a parade. To be honest, they will get a parade if they win Champions League. Because they're playing against freaking Barcelona, best team in the world. Women's team, at least, definitely at the moment. That is gonna be hell on earth on Saturday. Man United are 4th in this chart, just saying. They're spending a lot on attack. Like, let's be real, spending 78 million on Højlund, about 55 on Zirkzee and all these guys. It says a lot, doesn't it? That just puts them up there. The club started with defenders, then they bought midfielders. Hopefully now they will bag some attackers. People will still complain. People will complain no matter what. The biggest issue with that is just the waste of money we have done over the years. Because there were, and the opportunities, what Arsenal have missed in the market because they have wasted money on those players. Like Arteta said, we sign players everyone wants, but when we try to sell them, nobody wants even to look at them. So that is the biggest issue. But think about this Hyper, by the way. Big up Hyper protagonist, right? Think about this. We started with defenders, then bought midfielders. We are now in a situation where we again need to buy defenders and again need to buy midfielders. We should be in a position where maybe one player, maybe one tweak in certain position should suffice in that regard. But we are not. We need like 2 defenders, we need about 2 midfielders still, and then we need attack overall to completely build it at all from the ground up pretty much. So it's insane. And if you think about only 80 million spent on the attack from 750 million he has had, that is total negligence of the forward line. It just shows that this manager's philosophy is defense first. And to be honest, we called it out already 3-4 years ago, and it still hasn't stopped to this day, by the way. Gyokeres, 26-year-old and experience concerns at 6. Sesko is 20 years old, means up-and-coming player, so Gyokeres. So, big up Mubarak, Nabongo, big up. For me, I'm not going to get into Gyokeres. Again, this is the last thing I'm saying on Gyokeres in terms of Sesko versus Gyokeres. If we want a win now type of player, we have to sign Gyokeres. If we are building for the future for Weird at the same time, we need to sign Sesko. In a deal scenario, we sign both. One is to win now, other one can be the secondary striker, be in a 4-4-2, and all this crap, you know the deal. Other striker, secondary striker, come on as a sub, playing the cups and all this stuff, but he learns the craft, and in the 3 years or 4, he can become the #1 guy, even sooner if his potential fulfills itself. And by the time Gyokeres is about 29, 30 or something like that, maybe he has injuries, maybe we are selling and cashing in on him. For me, we need 2 strikers. That is the biggest issue here. Because we are not going to get 2. That's what at least I see. Man, why the fuck I'm seeing people saying North London is white? Because Spurs won a major trophy. And Arsenal haven't done that in 21 fucking years. To be honest, I'm surprised planes haven't been stopped flying over London since Spurs opened their trophy cabinet. Well, at least for now, exactly like Hyper is saying, because it is, at least for now. And we need to win something desperately right now, this next season, because we cannot win anything this season, so it's next season, as always, Netflix FC, next season, wee, and all this stuff. Next season, yeah, and all this stuff, believe. I know Henry must be a shell. Oh, he definitely is. How did Leeds United get above Arsenal in that chart? Now I see the point you're making. That's embarrassing. Exactly. That is the thing. 222 million Leeds have spent on the forward line. They signed your Pirots. Who else they have there? They signed... Dan James counts? Yeah, Dan James and everything. They have signed those players. They cost money. Let's be real. Nonto, although he was very cheap coming from Zurich. And they have signed proper strikers, and forwards in general, and they cost money. They tried to invest, plus they sold Rafinha and everything, so it also plays into that. Like, it is. That's why it is embarrassing, because we are 60th, 60th of signing forwards. Man, this is freaking nightmare. Spurs 17th winning trophies, and we can't even win the EFL Cup. Exactly. That is. We haven't won anything in 5 years, and we even won the FA Cup with a team that wasn't Mikel Arteta's. Then he annihilates that team, bins off everyone. We only have Martinelli from that squad. He didn't even play semi-final or the final. Same goes for Saka, by the way. Only player we have, a senior player, is Tierney, and he binned him off as well. So he has totally built his own team from ground up, and he cannot even get to one final. He can't get to one final. Think about it. Manchester United have been to 3 finals in 3 years. Arsenal haven't been to 1 in 5. Because Arsenal don't buy attackers, we buy defenders, midfielders. Exactly, we are defense and midfield FC. Needs to be placed. That's feels everyone has been celebrating lately. Newcastle, Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea. Yeah, but that's the case. Everyone is. Think about it. Leicester as well recently won a cup. Like 2001, 2002, something like that. All these teams are winning cups. City hasn't won a cup for 1 year. That's it. Liverpool just won a cup. Spurs just won a cup and everything. Arsenal are the only ones. And if Chelsea win, by the way, Chelsea haven't won a cup in 3 years, 2 years, something like that. If Chelsea win next week, they also will have won something. The thing about this, Crystal Palace have won stuff. This season is freaking nightmare. Every year with this damn manager, it's getting worse and worse. Exactly. I'm not gonna lie. I have had at certain times in my life nightmares as an Arsenal fan about the fact that Spurs win a trophy when Arsenal are winning nothing. And that was a nightmare only. Never thought in my life it actually would come to reality. Hell no, Chelsea can't win. Whole London would laugh at it. Imagine Crystal Palace win, Chelsea win, and Spurs win. Arsenal don't win anything. South London, North London, East London, all these Londons are winning, except Arsenal, who are also in North London. If Chelsea and Tottenham both win European trophies in the same year, we will be cooked, laughed, and will be the meme club. We already are. Let's be real, it cannot get too much worse than it is right now. What in the hell to talk about? Exactly, it's insane. It utterly is insane when you come to think of it. And put things into perspective, it is actually kinda insane. Declan Rice, can Arsenal win the league next year? 1000%. Yeah, we can win the league. Anyone can win the league, at least in the beginning of the season. Will we win the season? Go figure. Genuinely, go figure. Bring in Sesko, very technical player, an upgrade. Well, to be honest, it's hard not to be an upgrade on Havertz. Like, saying it that way. Well, North London is gonna be white, South London is gonna be blue and red, Chelsea is part, whatever there are, East London, West London, I forgot. It's gonna be blue, so only part Arsenal don't gonna be. Rodrygo, by the way, is still convinced he can stay at Real Madrid. And he can convince Xabi Alonso that he could be crucial, we'll see. This is weird one, caught offside. Don't trust him, because he waffles a lot about these transfers. However, apparently Arsenal and Liverpool have reportedly scheduled talks next week over a potential deal to sign Julian Alvarez from Atletico Madrid. Interesting, isn't it? Plus, we couldn't win Europa League once. We were in it for like 5. Yeah, we lost to teams that, like, we lost to Sporting. We lost in semi-finals to Emery, who won the goddamn thing and got into with the same team next year to semi-finals of Champions League. We couldn't beat Chelsea in the final, and it's actually insane. Olympiacos as well. Dude, that game still haunts me to this day. We are officially known as the meme club now. Yeah, we are, basically. Julian Alvarez to Arsenal. Wouldn't say no. Oh, by the way, this is also according to Code Offside, so don't take it as gospel. Mikel Arteta has held direct talks with Nico Williams in order to present his project to the player. Code Offside understands. They understand nothing. None of these reports understand anything. It's just speculation. Sources have indicated. Sources. Name the sources. Name the people. And everything then. Indicated that Arteta pitch looks to have put them in a commanding position to sign Williams. Yeah, right. Sure. Whatever helps you sleep at night. This is where our loyalty will be tested with 1,000 jokes about coming back to back. Yeah. Yeah. And the worst part is next season we might not even get second at this pace. At least with this manager. Apparently Arsenal want Valencia center back, Mosquera. Again, caught offside, so I don't trust caught offside. Like, he's gotten so many things wrong. Thoughts? Thoughts? Usually in my every season I bottle the league. Mikel Arteta on winning with Arsenal via Sky Sports. Obviously it's AI generated, so don't get offended, but as banter and everything, it is top notch. I'm not gonna lie, it is top tier, to say the least. But it hurts me as an Arsenal fan when I have to see this stuff daily on social media. And it's not only on X or Twitter, whatever, it's on Facebook, it's on Reddit, it's goddamn on TikTok and YouTube even. It's actually kind of insane. Don't we already get that Club Brewster? No, it's apparently just a rumor we are linked with him. Allegedly. This is all alleged talks. Transfer window opens in 9 days. 9 days. 9 days, guys. 9 days. It opens in 9 days and it's gonna be open till the 10th of June. If we haven't confirmed at least 2 deals by then, it could be very long summer. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, King Kenny. Which King Kenny? You think that guy who sings about wanting Arteta's babies and everything? You mean that King Kenny, or you mean the King Kenny who actually is the proper King Kenny? Who is from Lee Gunner's stream? Which Kenny do you mean? Big up, why not? Hope you're doing well today. Hope you're doing well. No, I don't. I saw that one about him wanting Arteta's babies. Just... It's actually embarrassing how this fan base moves at times. There's an Arsenal fan who openly goes into the real world, goes to work, has people around him that know him, who sings on TikTok that he wants Arteta's babies. Seriously. It's the levels of Arsenal's fan base get embarrassing by day. Seriously. This is top tier banter, I'm not gonna lie. This picture alone is top tier banter. I'm sold on Sesko, Williams, Mendy, and Hato. I would love to have Hato as well. Yeah, it is every day. No, hell no, Williams ain't better than when you're in. Exactly. Arsenal fashion is what yeah, Arsenal fashion, it's a club. Why not? Hey, there is where? What's wrong with this man? He he has about like 50 songs about Arsenal. For everything he had a song how we gonna beat PSG and all this stuff. He has songs for everything there. Seriously, if you don't want to lose brain cells, I recommend not going there. I watched that one clip and I genuinely felt like I've lost like 50 IQ points. Seriously, there is a guy who sings about that. RB Leipzig, by the way, have set a price tag for 60 million for Luis Openda. Interesting. The Belgian striker could leave the club if a sufficient offer is made. Another RB Leipzig player on the fringes, which is quite interesting. RB Leipzig not getting Europe at all, not even Conference League next year. And hosting a fire sale by the looks of things. By the way, this is the stuff I read today this morning. Seriously, this is the stuff I read today this morning. Gazzetta dello Sport, Italiana. Simeone Inzaghi to be leading candidate to replace Ruben Amorim should Manchester United make a change this summer. Can you imagine? I'd rather not, obviously, but can you imagine? This fan base is getting worse and worse. I don't mess. It's insane. To be honest, Arteta eats salt-based meat, so pause and all that stuff. But hey, I'm immune to the jokes. So sick of the club manager and fans. Time to time, I add those dim with it enough to endorse or back him. Or, like, I do the same, to be honest. I see them all over the place, everywhere, all the goddamn time. And there are times when I call it out on X. Mostly, I don't do it on TikTok because it's a useless app. Let's be real. I don't like being there. And everything. I just sometimes call them out on Twitter. I'm glad I don't have this app. But yeah, sorry about that. I don't have this app. I would tell the... Yeah. Openda can play right wing. Yeah, he can play wings and striker. Inverted forward, something like that. Man, fuck you, getting... Imagine seeing this. Inzaghi to United. Inzaghi must be negotiating better. He has to. And to be honest, I wouldn't even go there if I was Inzaghi. If this is true, it's actually insane. The fact that he would go to United instead of Arsenal. This hurts. 2025, the year of the bird. Obviously, we have magpies, swans. No, it's not swans. It's what? Gargoyle. It looks like a gargoyle. Fucking hell. Eagle, a pigeon, and all this stuff. Only teams with in Premier League teams with bird badges have one stuff. Liverbird. Here we go. That's the one. But yeah, only clubs that have bird badges have one stuff. But yeah, we talked about that. We talked about Martinelli. Here we go. People saying United have no pull. Gyokeres has told Sporting teammates he's unsure where he will be playing next year, with a 26-year-old link with Arsenal and Manchester United. This is not going too well, is it? The narrative was if United lose the Europa League final, we're gonna get Gyokeres, for example. Not looking too good, is it? Look at this. Nearly 5 years without a trophy. That is actually insane, if you ask me. Genuinely insane. But hey, Arsenal are the only team not got them ending the drought. Yeah, they are. But I think on that note, I'm gonna end today's stream. As you can see, my voice is gone. Fully, I cannot stop coughing. It's really bothering me at the moment. I genuinely fell asleep and I missed 20 minutes of the stream, so I tried to. About 1 hour seems about right. Europa League shouldn't count as a major honor. "1,480 days since Arsenal last time won a trophy. Be excited, guys. Be happy, guys. Drink some lemon juice, guys." But yeah. We have a lot of trophies. The issue is we are not adding anything to that. For a club that was so known for winning at least stuff back in the day, we don't do that too often in the recent times, do we? Yep, Spurs have more European trophies than us. Yep, they do. But yeah, as I said, I think I'm gonna end it today. My voice is going and cough is getting worse. Need to relax before the last day tomorrow. So I'm sorry I was late today. Hopefully gonna be better tomorrow. But for today I'm gonna sign out. So if you haven't already, smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. I'm very sorry if I seemed a bit odd and a bit off, because I generally had just woken up and I don't feel too great because of illness and everything. So hopefully tomorrow I feel better as well. Have a nice evening. Have a nice day tomorrow. Don't pay too much attention to the socials because Spurs Parade tomorrow is happening. There will be pictures and all this stuff, so don't look at that. Spurs are benching benching a trophy Arsenal don't have. Community shields are for losers. Yeah, exactly. We were in Europa League. How many times? How many times did we win it? Oh, right, none. Lost the final. Lost to Unai Emery in the semi-final, who, by the way, won that thing afterwards and got to semi-finals of the Champions League next year and everything. True that the only club not filling up. Exactly. Of the clubs that win, who are winning at least on somewhat semi-consistent basis, yeah, it's not looking too good, is it? But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here. So take care, stay safe, like, comment, subscribe. Big up Why Not, big up Hyper, Protagonist, big up Mabas, big up G-Wheels, big up Marlon, big up everyone who liked, who commented, Boyton, subscribed and all this stuff. Gonna see you all tomorrow. Hopefully I feel better. But for today, I am out. And by the way, don't forget to go and check the YouTube short I uploaded today. Like it, drop a comment there. And yeah, take care. See you very, very soon.